You know, it's been 3 years since we took over Aniview's. Wow. And there's been one anime that's been looming over this channel ever since I started. Let's go back in time, shall we?
Let's go back in time, shall we?
Stellar scores, whatever the hell they were called, I forgot now. I was wondering what they were each like and what they would actually do, but nope. All the was like two of them that were sort of developed, and the rest kind of felt shoehorsed in. Seriously, it was like, who's this guy? Why is he introduced in the last two episodes? Why does he make a difference to the plot? Why is he totally pointless? Why did 89% of the budget go into making that very artsy and yet very pretentious outro when they could have spent the money making the series longer and make it more interesting? Oh, don't worry, children. I'll get to Eden of these one day. As for future...
Yep, I'm finally doing it. After 3 long years, I'm gonna tackle Eden of...
Aaron, what you doing?
Oh.
Are you doing alright?
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah,
What are
you-
you
you
doing here?
I
I thought you were in hell.
Well, yeah, but you know, I am drawn to the sound of crushing disappointment, so I thought I'd, heard you doing Eden of these review. I wanted to, eat that shit up.
Fine. I guess you kinda need to be here since it's our 3rd-year anniversary. So yeah, it's a joint review, unfortunately. So,
Sweet.
let's roll our intro. Eden of Thieves came out in 2009, so it's quite a while ago. This is about the same guy who did Metabots.
The entire Ghost in the Shell TV series.
Yeah, so you can kind of see, and again, the Ghost in the Shell TV series was incredibly well received. It's a really good series, so you would hope and pray that this anime would be good.
Oh.
I mean, for once in our life, we're getting something that's not based off a friggin' manga. It's completely original work. Expect this to be good, right? Wrongish.
It starts off pretty. The problem is, right? I'm actually quite surprised to remember that it's by the guy who did Ghost in the Shell TV series, because the point of Ghost in the Shell TV series is at the beginning it gives you loads of interesting plot lines and intrigue, and then as it goes on, it really slowly but really carefully wraps them up in a really satisfying package and like gives you answers to stuff. Eden of the East is like that, except it's got to do anything past mentioning all the conspiracies. It just has all these ideas. It's just like, I don't know, I just thought it'd be cool to mention them. It's like, can you please go somewhere with this?
So Eden of the East is about a character named Akira Takazawa who ends up in Washington DC completely stark bollock naked and has no idea who he is.
It's just him in front of the White House holding a gun.
We eventually find out that he's actually part of a secret group known as Salasals, who are tasked with saving Japan. They are all given 10 billion yen each, which roughly translates out to a packet of Maltesers.
Save Japan with a packet of Maltesers, give it to Kim Jong-un. He'd be like, oh, nice Maltesers, so I won't invade your country.
So essentially, it's his journey.
Spoilers, he gives Maltesers to Kim Jong-un.
But essentially, it's his journey of discovering who he is. Along the way, he meets up with a few characters. One of the main characters and kind of the main love interest is Saki. She's like a young woman who's just left university and sort of gets wrapped up with Akira as he sort of finds. She helps him out get into Japan, and they're sort of helping each other out to find out who he is. And the whole thing is about sort of conspiracy theories and that sort of stuff. But the problem is that the conspiracy theory stuff is kind of left in the background. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see Akira discover who he is and what he's a part of. Again, it's him discovering it at the same time we are discovering and learning about this universe, this whole world, essentially.
Although, what I love is that, like, everyone keeps going how cool Akira Takazawa is, but I just find him really funny in that, like, they didn't bother writing a guy. They just kind of just, like, quickly throw in a reference to something and people will like him. Like, the opening episode, he just goes, man, this is like something Jason Bourne would do. And I'm just like, yeah, it is. I can't be watching The Bourne Ultimatum right now. It's a great movie. I like the Bourne franchise. I mean, you're not quite Mark Wahlberg, or who is it? Matt Damon.
There are a few side characters in this. We have some of Saki's sort of university friends who sort of set up a small business called Eden of the East, way name of the anime, which is sort of like a search engine type of thing. There's a few characters. There is one character who I absolutely hate, whose name is
Bitch Tits McGee.
Yes, who is literally this ultimate friend zone dickhead who's just always having a go at Akira because, you know, Saki likes him. I mean, come on, mate. She's clearly not into you. Stop being so butthurt. Leave her alone. Why did they make an anime version of you, Robert?
Well, you know, I was talking to Kenji, and you know, we were discussing, and I was like, "Hey, Kenji, can I get myself in the show?" And he said, "No, you know, you're stupid. I hate you, and will you please stop calling me?" So, you know, I stopped calling him for about a day, and I called him the next day, having seen the first episode, and found out he had put me in the show because there, right in front of me, was a character who was useless, pathetic, annoying, and vibrantly unfunny in any level, and I couldn't believe it. So I sued him, and in the end, I lost. And now I'm living in a 4-bedroom apartment in hell because the rent prices are pretty cheap.
But let's go on the technical side of things. Animation-wise, it is amazing looking. This is top quality stuff, and
Well,
rightly
it's
so.
it's done by the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex guys. It's
Yeah,
good. It's good time. It's fun.
The
It's
backgrounds
nice.
look amazing. Washington DC in particular in the first episode looks outstanding.
Yeah.
One thing also about the characters is that they kind of have a sort of a chibi, super deformed look to their faces. You know, kind of weird, but again, it kind of gives its own distinct style, so you can kind of really remember all the characters due to their sort of distinct look.
What I really love is that at the very beginning, it's like you know, look at Welcome to America. You know, let's go proper bit of America, but a slice of it. You get to see this sense of Americana. There's sort of a Twin Peaksy vibe to it. Just like, oh, kind of Twin Peaks, Washington DC. This is kind of fun. This is kind of cool. And immediately it goes, let's go to Japan. We're more comfortable writing there. I'm just like, no, don't go back to Japan. That's the bit we don't want to see.
The anime is interesting. The whole conspiracy angle, you get really hooked in. Again, it's sort of from like the early episodes, but unfortunately, it never really fully realized it. It is interesting for us to watch Akira learn and discover who he is, and also learn about other Celestials.
And learn about all of the fucking pointless decisions that all of them make. Like none of it really makes any sense from like character motivation standpoints.
They are interesting characters, again, because they all come from different walks of life. And for some reason, there's a succubus with literal wings who fly. Do you remember that scene? It's really bad. I mean, Akira goes in, and, you know, we learn that she's a sort of a penis manipulator, I would guess. She keeps chopping off guys' stuff, which is just, no. That is really, really bad.
Yeah, why they give her the money? They never actually explain why they give half these people the money. Like, the doctor makes sense. I guess the banker kind of makes sense, but some serial dick eater.
I mean, the whole point of this anime is the fact that they are unwittingly a part of this thing trying to save Japan, and if they fail, they get shot in the head by a person called the supporter, who we don't really learn who that is. It's never really explained or ever.
Not only is it never explained, but it's that you get shot in the head, or shot by your wife, or your memory erased, that you can never decide. They can never decide what they're doing anymore. And they never explain any of it either. It's kind of funny.
The problem is that this anime is only 11 episodes long, which is kind of weird. I mean, usually it's either 12 or 13. This is a very short anime compared to other ones. The problem is that it feels like that. The last 3 episodes are particularly sort of probably the best parts because it kind of brings in the whole conspiracy angle to the forefront. Because again, the whole anime was sidetracking with different sort of subplots. Again, they were interesting, but never really built to anything else.
It's kind of weird that an 11 episode show can be accused of running out of steam.
The problem is,
But really early on, it just doesn't. It just doesn't hold you anymore.
the problem is that this isn't somewhat based off a manga or something that a studio is sort of like taking risk with. This studio has proven themselves to do great stuff. They've done Ghost in the Shell.
That's the thing. Ghost in the Shell has really good conspiracy theories. Like really good. Like, I mean, do you remember the Laughing Man story?
I do.
That was entirely. That was basically Eden of the East, but you know, good.
Again, they could have easily have made this into a 24 episode series rather than just make it to 11 and then painstakingly cut into 2 different movies. It feels completely unfinished. It just doesn't. It's just this anime is so annoying.
Even the movies don't give you a sense of satisfaction. They give you an ending, but it's not a satisfying one. Nothing in the show ever feels satisfying. Like, you always feel like something's missing, or you're not being told something, or I don't know. It just always feels off somehow.
It is interesting. The subplots are interesting, but they completely derail. Again, the first few episodes, it's got its head straight. It knows where it's going, but then it sort of derails to other places. We've got the succubus subplot for some reason. You know, we've got
Oh yeah.
got the whole thing of them setting up Eden of the East, their sort of search engine thing, and then at the end, there's one cellar that's introduced, and then that's it. I mean, half these cellar styles, we don't know who they are. I mean,
Even the movie doesn't explain like a few of them. And like, oh my god, it just every time I put a stellar side, it feels so forced. It would have been better if they were just like there's just like four of you. That'd have been better, because then you didn't have to have this whole worry thing. But even then, I'd raise even more questions as to why the dick eater. But oh my god, I've got like snake eater stuck in my head, but the word snake replaced with dick now. I give my dick not for honor, but for you. In my time, there was no other cock. Do 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 do. Try as you might, this is a penis. Still in a dream, dick eater. Ba-da-da-da.
to be fair, I do like the chemistry between the two main leads. It is interesting, and some of the side characters are again are interesting, except for Friend Zone Man.
But it just never feels resolved. Even nothing. Even at the end of the second movie, he's just like, oh, I can't be bothered with this anymore. Just leaves. It's like he doesn't give a shit. No one gives a fuck in this movie. In this show, it just
In its initial release, people loved it. They did love it. And I think now as time gone on, people have sort of opened up their eyes to say, actually, no, this is actually really mediocre. Some people out there will say, oh, well, you're just some weebo who wants the same normal shit. No, we have proven in the past that we don't like the sort of mundane anime. We love stuff like Aku no Hana. We love interesting, thought-provoking anime. This isn't it.
it doesn't suck. It just feels like so much potential was lost.
Yeah.
Like I don't get what happened, because at least maybe it was that maybe it was like development hell in that they started it and he was like, you know what, I want to make an ending sequence, and then they finished it 4 years later. It's been so long trying to cut down the trees relevant to make that fucking thing.
As evident by this picture of most of South America completely made into deserts for this anime ending.
Like that's Eden of the East. If you look at this chart right here, this chart right here tells you exactly what Eden of the East just did to the economy and the environment. Like credit crunch, all of that lot, every single. Why do you think he made an inconvenient truth?
Because of
right?
Eden of the East.
Eden of the East, man. Everything that Al Gore has done is because of this bloody show.
In the past, we didn't want to review Eden of the East because no matter how much we tried, we couldn't give this a bad review. There was something about this anime that it was so hard to penetrate that invisible wall of just bashing this anime. But I think it's time. Is it time to do it?
Well, look, the problem is, as much as I'm sure it's kind of overused to go, oh, this show's not very good, you've got to remember who the people who made it were, what the expectations were, and the fact that it's not a case of, they just wrote it in their own style. Like, we've seen them write stuff like this, and we've seen it way better. Like, way better. There's a reason people still like the Standalone Complex series, because, it does decent conspiracy theories and decent ideas. And Eden of the East is like that, except it totally forgets what writers are halfway through. It's just like, I don't know what's going on.
This does feel painfully sort of split up intentionally for commercialization. It does feel like that.
It does, yeah.
And it shouldn't have been that. It should have been one straight vision, not sort of cut up into different aspects. I wouldn't be surprised if they initially made it out for, again, just sort of intentionally sort of spread out, have an anime series and then 2 movies to finish it off. It's just, look, I'm going to say this right now, we don't completely hate this anime. We're not going to give it, say, like a 1 out of 10. No.
Like stylistically, it looks great. It's well directed in terms of camera angles.
The characters are pretty fun as well. Again, Akira.
They're fun. I mean, they are reference bait, but, I've liked worse things.
And again, some of the side plots and the sort of conspiracy theory angles, when done correctly, are interesting. but it just never fully realizes that I'm not gonna go to the movies to get a conclusion because apparently they're just as crap as well.
Well, no, they do it very interesting. So if you plotted a bar graph of enjoyment or a line graph, whatever, it would start off like really high and it just slowly dissipates, just boof, right, by episode 11. And the movies do exactly the same thing but condensed into 1.5 hour chunks. So it starts off again really high and like, oh, this is really cool, and then it slowly dissipates until boof. And then when the second movie came out, you're like, well, you got to redeem the ending of the first one. Oh, look, this is really interesting. Ah, yeah, this is gonna do. Oh no, wait, no, it's doing the same thing again. It's just like they're really good at writing the starts to things. You know, well done, writers. This you really write good starts, and you really hate the environment because Jesus Christ, why? Why did you do that to the ending? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's probably one of the best endings ever made.
Think
Like,
about
how
the
many
children.
bears had to die? How many bears died? Right? Why are pandas extinct? Well, nearly extinct. Why are pandas dying? Right?
Why are tribes in South Africa like the Yanomami gone because of you?
Yeah, I know. It's like I just can't believe like deforestation is killing the planet, and you think that the best thing to do is just take all the paper in the world. What have you done? And you've nicked my notes again. Stop nicking my notes, show.
There's gonna be someone out there saying, "Oh, well, Andrew, that was CG." No, it wasn't. It was actual paper. We see the proof, as evident by this.
Ah, you get it? Because the proof, because of paper. Ah,
Yes, yes.
ah.
As
Evident.
evident by this video of deforestation.
With Bode's face on top of it. Can we get some Darude Sandstorm just partying on that as well, please? Can we have that?
Yeah, go on, fine. I'll put that in there.
That, there we go. Okay, we'll keep that going. Yeah, it's funky.
So, is there anything else you want to add, or are we fine to conclude now?
I just the problem is that it's really hard to make this review interesting other than just going, well, this show is really disappointing, and everyone already knows it's disappointing. It's kind of like infamous for it, really. It's kind of like, do you want to have fun for like 5 minutes and then stop? Yes. Oh, go get Eden of the East.
It's kind of like Rob's love life. It starts
Hey.
off and then goes completely
Just
downhill.
Boof. Yeah, you know, it is a ticking time bomb waiting. It's just. It's so boring. It is like my love life, really. It starts off quite exciting, and then it just reaches a point of mundanity until it just collapses in on itself, really. And like towards the end of it, you think something might happen, but then nothing really does, and it just kind of ends. That's Eden of the East. That's Eden of the East. Yeah, it's my love life, basically. So, you know, I rate this my love life out of 10.
All I will say is Eden of the East is an incredibly disappointing anime. I mean, watch it once, you're gonna...
Watch the ending theme, you know.
Yeah,
watch the ending theme. Because, you know, if that many trees had to be sacrificed, you might as well see it, you know. It's, you know. I mean, it's quite a nice way to see how the world ended.
Yeah. Mommy, Daddy, why are there no trees left? Well, son, we had to make for this fucking mediocre anime.
Actually, it doesn't even make any sense why this one's paper either. Like, I don't think paper is ever used in the show. Like, they're always using, like, phones and iPads. I'm pretty sure that, like, there's not a single bit of actual paper in this show.
It's a literal opposite of iPhones and iPads when you're using paper.
I don't get it. I bet some guys can be like, well, it's got all these deeper meanings. I was like, no, I just made it because it looks nice.
It's so pretentious, just like the anime.
I was going to say it's not pretentious, but that's more me just going, it looks nice enough to not be pretentious, but it's still a bit pretentious.
This is literally our worst review ever. We're just
This is our worst review. Well, what was I going to say, right? Like, okay, so without, is it even possible to just say just Eden of the East in like a few words without using the word disappointing or I just don't really care anymore? Because it really is quite tricky. Like, Eden of the East, what is there to say? Like, that's the reaction. The exact words to describe the show is, it's, right? You have to make whale noises, just,
It's an actual whale noises.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's a review. You know what? Okay, you know, here's our official review. Play the whale noises. There you go, right? That's what our review is, right? So there you go. Our review is that. That's our summary again. Just if you didn't hear that, this is our summary. Thank you, Shamu. I just don't get it. It's just like it's something that's like, look how clever I am. I don't know where I'm going with this, and that's basically it's like me. It just doesn't know where it's going with anything. It starts off a speech kind of interesting, but by the end of it, no one's really listening.
I think we've finally done it. We've
I've wa-
actually broken through the wall of not hating Eden of the East.
I don't think we broke through the wall. I think we kind of just stumbled through it head first.
That's true. So, you know what? This has been a lot of fun, Robert. Do you want to come back and do some more of this in the future?
Depends.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Don't worry.
夜は降りん戸惑いまじれば終わる迷い出す怖いならいっそわけの捨てよまた夢見
Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Come on, man. What's the worst that could happen?